What's up, people? I've had some friends ask about making a video on patterning a gusseted tongue. And if you don't know, a gusseted tongue is a tongue that has basically continues into the side of the quarters, like along the eyelets, and stops water from getting in, or dirt or whatever. But it's a little confusing to pattern and to make sure it's actually watertight up at the front and big enough that you can still get your whole foot in there. So here's how I do it. This doesn't mean that there's only one way. There's at least a few ways that I know of. Here's the way that works best for me and might work for you. In order to get started on this, you need your mean form. If you don't have this, if you only have a pattern, what you can do is take your vamp pattern piece and your quarter pattern piece and trace them onto a piece of paper. You want to align the seam up, and then you want to find the halfway, the folding line of the vamp. That's what this is called. And that should give you something like this. You're also going to trace your tongue on there, and you need to mark all of your little alignment holes, whatever these are called. You'll end up with something like this, which is basically a mean form with the pattern on it. Here we can see that the tongue pretty much ends right where the quarters end, right? And we have a reinforcement stitch that's the highest stitch towards the center of the vamp. It's the stitch that's closest to the center of the vamp. We need to know that. When we create our gusset, there's going to be a fold in the gusset, right? So it's going to come off the tongue this way. And then once it's mounted, once it's stitched to everything, and it's on the shoe, it's going to live like this, of course. So what that means is we need to have enough material here that the gusset passes beyond this point, folds right there, and then when we stitch the quarter on, we'll stitch right over here and seal the end of the gusset, essentially. So on this shoe, you can see the gusset is, the tongue is one single piece, and under here, it gets folded and then stitched over. That seals the end of the gusset and makes sure that water can't get in. There's also reinforcing stitches here so that water can't get in this way. All right, so we know our tongue ends here, right at the front of the facings. We know if your tongue ends behind the facings, that's fine. We know that the highest point up on the vamp that we're gonna stitch is right here. And so now what we want to do is take our quarters and we want to trace the quarter, including this information, very important. So we're really just going to trace the eyelet area, right? And then we're going to add a few millimeters of allowance on these sides, right? So that once you've got this glued and stitched to the quarter, you can trim it, right? You'll have some trimming allowance. And then all we need to do is extend the end of the quarter, or the gusset, or the lining of the facing, a few millimeters in this direction, right? And this is what we're ready to cut out so that we can attach it to our tongue. You do want this to be as small as is reasonable, because if it's too long, then it may stick out from under your quarters when you stitch onto the vamp, and you don't want that, obviously. So you really only need a few millimeters, enough that when you stitch this line on the, like during closing, you will capture the bottom side of the gusset, the fold of the gusset. So we're going to cut that out real quick. This is rough. You can do a better job on your own pattern, but I'm just doing this for a video. So you don't really need to include any of this information on the final piece. Now you know what the sides of your gusset are going to look like, right? Here's what the finished gusset should sort of look like. And take a piece of paper and fold it. We have our piece of paper folded. We're going to take our tongue and align it on the center of the tongue, right? The folding line of the tongue is what an expert would call that. And we're going to trace it on here. I'm going to mark this, but we're probably going to cut it out later. It doesn't matter. And then we're going to take our gusset, and because we already know that the edge of the tongue and the edge of the quarter pretty much line up, which may be different for yours, just know the relationship. For me, I'm just going to line those two up exactly. I've got the edge of the quarter here and then a little bit of allowance. I'm going to trace this on. And that's pretty much the gusseted tongue. Now all you need to do is decide how far up you want the gusset to go. In my experience, you can go all the way up and still have room to get your foot in. It doesn't seem to make a difference. It's just how much material you want to use, how flexible you want the tongue to be. If you have a lot of material here, it can end up kind of bunching up and making it so that the throat, the facings are far apart, or it's uncomfortable. You have to fold the tongue in a specific way just to wear the boot. So for me, I just put it up here, you know, a few inches up. This is plenty of waterproofing. The tongue is here. I could stand in like 4 inches of water, theoretically, and not get any inside the shoe. You want soft corners here because they're less likely to rip. So just like trace this on any way that you like, and that's pretty much your tongue pattern. But we're not done, because if we were to combine this with the standard vamp, you would have a really hard time making this stitch. Let's say you want to stitch the tongue onto this, and you already got your quarter stitch to your vamp or your quarter stitch to your tongue. Either way, the problem is that when you try to start this stitch or end it, the roller foot is going to stop you from getting into this corner properly. You're going to have to really stretch and mangle this thing in order to get into that corner. And at some point, you have to stop and turn around and continue to stitch in the other direction. And it's really hard. Everything's in the way. Fortunately, there's an easy solution to that. The solution is to make the vamp go further up into the tongue. And all that really means is that when we're stitching it, the wheel is running parallel to this facing and can get right up against it. And so when we go around on both sides, the wheel is not in the way. Even when you turn this around, it's easier to fit this arm into this corner than the edge of the wheel. All right, so we know that our standard vamp's not gonna work. So what we're gonna do is take another piece of paper that's wide enough to make a vamp on, fold it in half, and we're gonna trace the vamp on there. You will want this data, unless you're going to just use this as kind of a template and overlay the original vamp on it. Now, in order to get the presser foot, the roller foot in there, instead of having the roller foot going in this direction when we're stitching, we're going to have it go in this direction. And in order to do that, all we need to do is make the joint where the vamp meets the tongue nice and long and round. That way, the roller foot can go in this direction, and the quarters will simply lift up out of the way. So this is what our vamp tongue is, or our vamp piece is going to look like. We're going to add some amount of allowance here for overlap, and then our tongue piece is going to go to that point as well. Basically, we're going to cut this out and trace it over so that they join. One thing I use to trace this stuff, one tool that's invaluable when you're doing this stuff, is this little perforator thing. It's basically a wheel that's got a bunch of points on it. And I can roll it across a line, right? When two pieces of paper are overlapped, and now I've transferred that line. Did you see that? To the bottom piece. So that allows me to take my mean form and transfer it to a folded piece without having to cut it into pieces, basically. I could take any two pieces that I can line up and I need to transfer information from the top piece to the bottom. You can just trace it with this thing and it will transfer it. It's awesome. Let's do that. I'll start by cutting this out. Just gonna leave some extra at the bottom there. Doesn't really matter. You can ignore that. All right, so I've got this, and I can line these two things up as best as I can. And then I'm just gonna, let's see, the vamp needs to go to this line. So I'm just gonna follow that. And you could painstakingly do this with like a needle or something, but this thing really works, and it comes in a bunch of leather working kits for next to nothing. So now I have that line on here. First I'll trace it to make it easier to see. But then I can just cut it out, and I'm ready to go. There's your finished gusset. I'm going to trace out or cut out a little alignment mark on here. This tongue is asymmetrical, or this vamp is asymmetrical, so I want the two sides to be different. All right, so now you have your gusseted tongue and your new vamp. And let's talk about assembly real quick. The first thing you want to do, once you've clicked these out, you have to skive this whole area thinner, or else your facings will feel extremely huge. And then you want to skive this area nice and thin so that it's flexible. And then you want to skive everything down here, basically anything below or forward of this line, right? Needs to be skived super thin, because you're going to be folding this in half and then stitching the quarters over that. And that's a lot of leather. So I would skive this basically as thin as possible from here, you know, this whole area. You can also skive the gusset, and it'll allow it to fold a little easier when you're actually wearing the shoe, which can be very helpful. Now, when you go to assemble this, you're gonna first take your two quarter pieces and stitch them at the back. Maybe you're stitching on a collar up here. You're gonna wanna glue on your back cap if you have one and stitch that. Basically anything that happens back here needs to already be done by the time you install the tongue. Then you're gonna glue on the facings right here and do a stitch that runs up here and back down, and you have to stop at this line or just above it. If you go further than that, this won't work because you won't be able to fold the tongue. So you do that for both facings, which can be difficult. You're going to want a post-bed machine to do that. By that point, the last step will basically be to stitch the vamp on. Wrong vamp. And you'll find it to be fairly easy because the presser foot of the machine, the roller foot, can roll right past this folded quarter, no problem. It can roll right in there. It's easy, instead of having to roll in this direction and get right under there. So you'll stitch that to the vamp, and then you will, your quarter will already be here, but you just glue this area and stitch this, and then stitch over here, right? Your reinforcement stitch. And as you can see, that'll come out on top of the fold. And when you open this up, you'll have a nice, tight, waterproof upper. A couple of other little notes. You may make a sample of this and find that part of your tongue is sticking out just past the quarters here. And you can see on this is my actual production pattern, that I've cut a little relief here so that doesn't happen. Skiving, super, super important on this. Probably the most important part of constructing a gusseted tongue. So don't skimp out on that. And also hammer this stuff at every stage. Like when you make the fold in the gusset, like once it's on the vamp, fold it, hammer it to death. That's gonna help a lot. Take it slowly when you're stitching up here, because rolling over this with the presser foot's gonna be really hard. All right, well, that was really fun. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any questions about what we did, leave them in the comments. Also, if there's another video you wanna see, let me know. A couple of things. One, I was recently given this big book of uppers by Marcel Merson, big book of footwear uppers, and read it cover to cover. This is an incredible book with so much useful information that I wish I had when I first started. I learned a ton. There's a lot of great techniques. It very much strikes a balance between doing this stuff with software and being able to do it by hand in terms of patterning. Goes through all kinds of construction stuff with loads of excellent tips too. Definitely check this out. That's Marcel Merson's The Big Book of Footwear Uppers. Another thing is, right now I have a GMTO going. This is the Stitch Down Patina Thunderdome group order. These are the Henry Johnson boot, French Army boot in Mariam TPR horsebutt matte, which is a fully veg-tanned horsebutt. It's got the shell membrane in there. It's got all kinds of beautiful texture. It's unglazed and it's raw veg tan, ready for patina. This is a patina monster. It's on the 1942 last, which has a really nice wide forefoot and a nice tight heel. All day comfort, great arch support. Check it out at oldspeedmfg.com. Thanks.